I call the June 4th, 2018 regular council meeting to order. Flag salute. Councilor Nuttall, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Silent roll call has been taken and a quorum is present.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the May 7th, 2018 regular council meeting?
So moved.
And the April 17th, 2018 and the May 21st, 2018 special council meetings? That was Jan. Is there a second?
Second.
Donna. Discussion? All those in favor? None opposed?
Okay.
Okay, petitions, communications, citizens' requests. Is there anyone from the audience at this time that would like to come and discuss an item that is not on the agenda? Okay, we will move on to the students from the Old Town High School who will present a summary of findings for the watershed project they have been working on. Brian?
Okay.
Can you introduce everybody? They're going to do it? Okay, perfect.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Adeline. I'm a junior at Old Town. And presenting with me tonight is Zach and Jacob. They're both sophomores. Haley and Colleen, they're both juniors. Ty is a senior. And Jenna is a junior. She's doing the slideshow back here. We have come to talk tonight about our experimental watershed project and to give an update on our work this year. We also wanted to thank you for allowing us to present our work to you tonight. We really appreciate it. Sorry, I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. We're very glad that you're here. Last year was fantastic.
Yeah.
Currently, we are on the second year of a 10-year-long ongoing project. We have a 140-acre watershed next to the school on UMaine property. We are partnered with the University of Maine, and this year we partnered with scientists from the University of New Hampshire.
Wow.
An interesting feature of the watershed is that all of its water drains into one culvert of the city stormwater system, and then it goes into the Penobscot River. It's all about what a change in climate will mean for the residents of Old Town. We are tracking 1, winter coldness and snow, and 2, what happens with the water between the end of winter and when mud season starts and spring has sprung. Zachary and Jacob will come up now to talk to you about snow, air, and soil temperatures. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Hello, my name is Zachary. We have a hardwood and a softwood site that we take measurements at. We bring this pack basket with us when we go to take those measurements. It has a lot of equipment we use to take those measurements. All the measurements are all the measurements are put into this field book. At each site there are 3 snow depth gauges like this one. Something else to measure is how hard or soft the snow is. We use this tube and this pencil, also known as the penetrometer. What we do is we put the tube over the snow, drop the pencil through, then we look at the measurement on the pencil, the numbers, and we measure it into centimeters. We do this 3 times at each site. Now Jacob is going to talk about air temperature.
Hi, I'm Jacob. In the fall, we put these eye buttons in our softwood and hardwood sites. They're used for getting measurements throughout the winter. This is the graph of air temperature and soil temperature at our softwood sites last year. The red line represents soil temperature. It didn't drop below freezing last year.
Can I ask at what depth or on the surface?
That one was 5 centimeters deep.
How much was it, Ed?
5 centimeters.
5 centimeters? Okay.
The blue line represents air temperature. You can see it drop below negative 20 degrees Celsius. We can see when the air starts to warm up. Our partners at UNH call this the hockey stick. The two black lines intersect is when mud season starts. When the air decides to warm up is one way to tell how winter's ending. And now Zach's going to talk about snow water equivalent.
Something else we measure is how much water is in the snow. Which is called snow water equivalent. In this picture, Haley's taking a sample. In this picture, she is using this tube, which she hammers it, put it over the snow, you hammer it down into the snow, take out the snow, we cap it, then we bring it back to the classroom, then weigh it. We also measure how deep the sample site was with this ruler. Now Haley and Colleen will talk about why snow water equivalent is important in the watershed.
Hi, I'm Colleen.
And I'm Haley.
Snow water equivalent is important because it helps us get an idea on how much water we will be dealing with and what to expect in the spring when all the snow melts. When the snow water equivalent is low, that means there is less water being stored in the snow and that there will be less water in the spring when the snow melts. Same goes for when there is a higher snow water equivalent, there will be more water stored in the snow and there will be more water to expect in the spring when the snow melts. As you can see in this graph, the Beach neighborhood has a higher snow water equivalent this year than the Hemlock neighborhood. There are many places where the water from the snow and the rest of the rain that we get throughout the year ends up.
This school year, from August 2017 to May 2018, about 17 million cubic feet of water fell into our watershed, which we know because of this rain and snow gauge. It measures the incoming water. About 10 million cubic feet of that went out of our watershed through the culvert and into the Penobscot River, which we know because in the culvert, there is a sensor that measures how much water leaves. The other 7 million cubic feet of water that fell into our watershed either evaporated and went into the ground or it created mud. We have been measuring a variety of different things that determine the quality of the water that is leaving our watershed and going into the Penobscot River. As shown in this picture, we are doing our samples. And we have also been measuring the amount of water that's going into the ground and creating mud by taking soil moisture measurements. We use the meter in this picture to get the soil moisture.
Now Ty will talk more about mud and mud season.
Hello, my name is Ty. Mud season in Maine is something we're all familiar with. Whether it's kids dragging in mud, going mudding, high water, or bad roads. However, we still have some questions left unanswered. Some questions that cannot yet be answered are, if winter ends earlier but the leaves open at the same time, what does that mean for mud season in Maine? Will it be muddy for a longer time? What will that mean for road maintenance? Will earlier snowmelt mean a change in when rivers have their peak flow? And how will changing seasons affect how we manage stormwater? These questions are left unanswered due to the fact that we are still in the early stages of our project. However, we hope to answer these questions by the end of our project. Thank you for your time. We would be happy to answer any questions.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. So who do we direct our questions to? Okay. So I just have a couple. You said you worked with UNH scientists this year, and last year was UMaine ones, right? So did you find any difference with working with them from last year using UMaine, or?
Well, this year we interacted with a lot more like scientists from UNH. We met Liz Berkowski, sorry, and Sarah J. Nelson, and Alex Contosta, and we met all of them. And I don't believe we met anybody from UMaine this year, but so we had a lot more involvement with UNH,
Yep.
kind of with the people, and more. I don't know how to explain it. Like, since UMaine was letting us use the watershed on their property,
Right.
So that's how they helped us.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's the same, use the same area that they did last year, same property and everything.
Yes.
Good, good. Any questions? Yeah.
Where is the culvert located that you take the readings from?
Oh, the culvert. Right off Easy Street.
Off of VZ Street? Where is that, John? Which one?
Davis and Sunset.
Davis and Sunset?
Yeah,
Trail
yeah,
goes
okay.
Okay.
Where it goes underground there?
Yes.
Yeah.
John, did you work with the group at all?
Yes.
Good. All right, any other questions?
Did we have more melt this year than last year?
More melt.
More melt, more water.
Oh.
We definitely had a different winter than what we had last year, so that was going to be my next question too. Did you see how many differences did you see from the last 2 years?
I can answer that one because these students weren't familiar so much with the data from last year.
Okay.
And
Is it new students that come into this program every year?
so this year, these students are all new
Okay.
to last year. But the nice thing about this group is that a lot of them are going to, except for Ty, a lot of them are going to continue with it next year.
Okay.
So that's a real nice feature of this group.
Right.
They've developed a lot of expertise this year and can carry that forward into next year.
So what difference did you see from last year to this year?
So last year was a learning and troubleshooting year, and the instrument, the flow meter that Department of Public Works got for us and that we installed in the channel was set up for a different amount of time. We did some troubleshooting with the instrument, and so it's hard to say because they weren't, the instrument wasn't deployed for the same amount of time. And there might have been a problem with how the instrument was recording measurements last year. I'm not sure, but we sent it back to the manufacturer, and they did some work on it. And so I'm not sure just how trustworthy the data are from last year because it was our first year with the instrument. So from here on out, we should be able to answer that question with a lot of precision.
Right. Okay. Anybody else? Any questions?
We'll look forward to next year, though.
Oh, absolutely. That's great that some of you are staying in for next year too. Fantastic. Bill, any questions? No. Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate you coming tonight.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you next year.
Did a nice job.
Very nice job once again. All right, we'll wait just a second and move on to reports, so anybody that wants to leave, go right ahead. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The ticket for the pencil in there.
Nice work, Ed.
All right, so we'll quickly move on to reports. Council President, okay, so I got a couple things. The next meeting will be on Thursday, June 21st. Due to the time frame that we have to give from the first reading to the second reading of the budget, we can't do it on the third Monday, so it's going to be Thursday of that week on June 21st. So we will not meet at all that Monday. So our next meeting is Thursday, June 21st. Next thing is we will not have a meeting the first week of July with the holiday being in the middle of the week. Not sure who'll actually be here, so we're not going to do that. We didn't do it last year either. So I'll send an email reminder to Patty and Bill so they can get it out to all the department heads. If you guys need anything approved, it needs to be at the next meeting or won't happen till the last meeting in July. So Okay, next up, we have Ron and Tim for the presentation of the LLC. They do this every year. Update us what happened over the past year, and thank you guys for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Leave her on there as handouts.
Some copies.
All right. And Ron was away the night that we had all the department heads
Thank you.
do presentations. Ron was away, so he couldn't be here that night. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Did you forget me? We can share that.
She's got the budget page.
She's good. We're good.
Okay, we'd just like to talk about what the Old Town Development LLC has been working on and what we place importance on the following. First is development of lots at the Airport Business Park. During the past year, the city obtained congressional approval to remove some of the restrictions on.
Move the mic towards you. You just move the mic towards you a little bit. Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
So Congress did vote on that. Now we're waiting for a release from the FAA, which is, should be imminent. And then we already have interest in 3 lots
Nice.
up there, so.
Good.
That's going well. We're working to build a close relationship with the new mill owners to meet mutual goals of having new jobs and new value for the community. We also support downtown revitalization. The city's assistant, 8 downtown buildings have participated in the facade improvements. The CDBG program is underway and 3 additional buildings are in progress. We received a CBDG grant of how much, Ron?
100,000, combined with another 25 from the cities.
Okay.
We got 125,000 in that.
Great.
We've been involved in efforts to attract business to the property at the Penny Road property. Working with the owners of property near the landfill to create a green energy industrial park up at Juniper Ridge. We had a TIF created downtown during the last fiscal year. This helped to fund community infrastructure and economic development in the downtown area. Continued collaboration with the university to create opportunities for commercial growth in Old Town. Had participation in the Maine Forest Economic Growth Initiative. Continued to promote Old Town businesses at university sporting events through an affordable partnership with Black Bear Sports Properties. Had participation agreements between Camden National Bank and Penobscot County Credit Union for our business loan program and equipment loan program, which are now in place. A new loan application was received this week under those programs. We continue to support the initial phase of high-speed broadband to the downtown and areas of Stillwater Avenue. We're working on a study for an innovative program to create smart integrated infrastructure using this broadband as its backbone. Remediation is completed at Jefferson Street School. We're planning on seeking new proposals for redevelopment this summer, since our last one did not work out.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to support involvement to create a regional FAA-approved airframe and power plant school for aircraft mechanics. So we have some people interested in developing a school up at the airport for this. And we continue to coordinate with other regional and local development-related groups, including downtown community and the community stakeholders.
Great.
Had a busy year. They're starting to have some success. Matt, Ron, you want to talk about budget?
Well, what you have before you is the budget that was passed by the LLC, and this is the combined balance of the former UDAG funds and the Economic Development Reserve accounts. So those totaled around $413,000. And what you see listed are the various initiatives that have been discussed at LLC meetings and voted on at their last meeting. Also, what was recommended was a couple of expenditures
Bless
for
you.
the council to consider from the Stillwater TIF account, which included downtown sidewalk improvements and expansion to the fiber initiative.
Right. Yep. Great. Any questions so far? I have attended a couple LLC meetings this last year. As with any group, you start off with a large number, it kind of dwindles down because of conflicts of meeting times and everybody's busy, but there's definitely a good 8, 9 people that show up there every time and they're committed and it's a good group. I wanted to get them to meet with the council in May, just with budgets and everything going on. We just haven't had time. So hopefully this summer, beginning of the fall, we can get together and go over a few things just to make sure. Because with anything, it's a very active group and they want to do a lot. There's not a lot. There's some monies there, but not a lot of monies. They understand that the city doesn't have a lot of monies, but, maybe we can work with them in some other areas and stuff. So definitely appreciate everybody's time on that committee.
Everything the council has to support the LLC, and, budgets are tight. You have supported us with anything that we've asked for.
Right. No, absolutely. All these years, I've never seen the council say no to the LLC. And as you stated, Tim, there's been a lot of irons in the fire, as I like to say, and some have hit, some haven't hit just yet, but the gun on the LLC needs to be a very important part of that. So definitely appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask
Yep.
about the Jefferson Street School.
We still have that one group, right, that you kind of been talking to.
Well, and I thought you would pick up on that. We've been putting a little pressure on the team that was selected previously because it's been quite some time.
Yes, that's true.
But having said that, the remediation wasn't completed until November of last year, so there hasn't been a long period of time that it's been dormant and ready to be renovated. But some of the blame was placed on the new tax law and what that did to historic tax credits, and I think that really did have an impact. But for whatever reason, they've decided that they just are unable to go forward at this time. So my suggestion would be to solicit new proposals right away, because I don't think we want to go through too many more winters with that being unheated and empty, so.
Well, and actually, before the meeting, Bill talked to me about somebody that called him today about a group that's interested in purchasing a building in town, and he'll be talking to you two about that, but that could be that building, so.
Good.
I thought before we spent some of that remediation
That's
money, we
right.
had decided that we were gonna make sure that they were going forward, but that didn't happen.
Well,
I could have gotten that.
Well, we had-
Yeah, that's true,
I
Carol.
thought that's what
we did meet with them and we did get assurances, but we didn't get financial assurances. But, they did meet with us and tell us that, they're still going forward, but.
Yeah, the city would be on the hook for that remediation
Either
cost,
way.
no matter what.
Right.
Even if we demolished the building, we'd had to have cleaned it.
Right. There's still hope. Like I said, he's going to talk to you guys about what came down today, so.
And we've got an RFP in place that I think, spells out everything that we want. So I think we're ready to go forward quickly with that, and we can promote it in the local newspaper, maybe the regional paper, and, every other source, from website to Facebook to Realtors.
Right. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good evening. Okay, so that was it for me. So move on to standing committees. City councilors. City attorney.
Ed wanted me to tell you that he's still considering your request from the last meeting.
Thank you.
He's gonna call you tomorrow.
Oh, great.
Or you tomorrow, I don't know, he didn't specify.
He'll probably call Bill.
He didn't want you to think you forgot about it.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Special committees. City manager.
Just one item, we have a FEMA meeting at 9:30 tomorrow morning. That's on the windstorm damage from last year, so we're still working on that. So hopefully we'll get some positive news and some reimbursement on some of the costs for that, so.
Right.
Good.
Parade went well?
Memorial Day, yep, very well.
Good. Very good. Okay, we're going to move right along here. Consent agenda. New business items number 1, 2, and 3. Counselor Nuttall, please.
Resolve the Old Town City Council hereby approves an application for the library to do a major.
Go to read this one first. Just read that part first. It's okay.
Resolve the Old Town City Council hereby approves suggested motions under new business items 1, 2, and 3 as presented. Number 1 is an application for the library to do a major event at the riverfront for a summer concert series. Number 2 is this city approving selling city surplus property located on Assessor's Tax Map 26, Lot 13 to James Dubé in the amount of $2,500 plus half of legal costs. And number 3 is the council approves taking property located at 79 Sanford Avenue and authorizes the city manager to ensure the notices have been filed in accordance with the sewer lien foreclosure process.
Perfect. Is there a second?
Second.
Jan, discussion? All those in favor? None opposed. Okay, moving right on to public hearings and second reading of ordinances. The Old Town City Council will conduct a public hearing on the proposed FY 2018-2019 municipal, county, and school budget. The proposed budget calls for city expenditures of $10,320,100, Penobscot County taxes of $653,134, and RSU number 34 expenditures of $5,202,655, for a total city, county, and RSU number 34 budget of $16,175,889, with total city revenue of $6,468,276, for a net property tax requirement of $9,707,613. I'll open the public hearing. A couple of things I want to say first, and then I'm going to turn over to Bill, and then we'll open it to the public. As I've stated before, this is our second year with that the mill has not been operating, so that's $850,000 less in tax revenue that we've had the last 2 years. Municipal revenue sharing is down $800,000 per year, as it has been. So I just want to tell Bill and the staff, you guys have done a great job this year for the circumstances we've been in, and really appreciate it. And I also want to say thank you to David Walker and the RSU board for coming in flat and actually using some extra monies that they have to pass on to help out with the budget. And so from there, Bill, the last meeting we had, we were at 3.9%, and I believe we're down to 2.5. So if you can kind of just go over some things, where we're at with that.
Yeah, starting when we began the budget, we were in double-digit increase. We've had several meetings since then and looked at those, and I can just run down through some of the major things that impacted that since the May 21st meeting. Just a reminder, wages increases 3% for non-union employees. Union employees 2% COLA and 2% step increases. Health and dental, the increase on that was 8%. Short-term disability insurance increased 7% this year, and Maine State retirement contribution went up 0.3% for union and non-union employees. When you look at reductions by department to get us down to the 2.5%, since that May 21st meeting, employee benefits, we were able to move $20,000 from that, from the workers' compensation expense. Savings came from our safety program. Our IT, which is Department 1220, we deferred improvements on that. So we moved $66,000 out of the budget to hold that for another year. We actually changed an overhead door was left off an initial bid for the forestry hangar, so there was an addition of $14,000 on that account. Fire department budget, we moved an additional $2,500 from the public education printing and binding account for them. Police department, there was $16,000 removed for handgun replacement. That's deferred for one more year. Removed the last position that was placed in the budget. That was another $65,000 out of the budget. Street lighting, we took out $3,100 there. In Public Works, $67,000 came out of that budget. $47,000 of that was part-time snow plowing. $20,000 was removed for gravel road maintenance. In the transfer station, Department 4020, there was $105,000 taken out of that. $75,000 was for the CDD landfill. We'd actually put in $100,000 initially to start towards the closure of that. We're just going to keep $25,000 in there for engineering services with CES this year. And we also had another $24,500 came out for tipping fees. Our tipping fees went down at PERC from $84 a ton to $75. Park maintenance, $31,276 was removed. We reduced the part-time staff there. We took out 2 people. So it went from 6 to 4. Savings in that was $27,000. And we had $12,000 in for grub maintenance in cemeteries, and we reduced that by $4,000 to $8,000. In municipal buildings, removed an additional $40,000. $20,000 of that was a structural evaluation for the Public Works building. There are some issues there that we're going to have to take a look at some point. Some of the structural support beams are starting to show rebar through them. John's assured me they'll be fine for this year, but something we want to start taking a look at. And we took an additional $20,000 out of just general building repairs and maintenance for the rest of the city buildings. Capital equipment, we had a reduction in the heavy of another $115,900 was removed. Capital projects, there was an additional $270,000 removed from that. We had additional ADA improvements, $5,000 removed. Paving budget reduced by $218,000. We had some miscellaneous pool repairs at $2,000 was removed. GIS projects, $2,000. Removed $5,000 off in the Penny Road. Stormwater Phase 2 improvements was $5,000 taken out. That's basically the outfalls along the river. We had $3,000 in there for Bennick Road traffic light, playground equipment of $5,000, and then traffic lights in general, we had $25,000 in the budget, which we hadn't had in there before. We had so many issues with the traffic lights, we didn't put that in, we took it back out. And you heard from the LLC the TIF monies that was already discussed. When you look at those changes in there overall to the municipal side of the budget, it was a reduction of $725,000. When you look how that rolls out in the budget, city budget is now $10,041,000. School budget's $5,202,000. County budget was $653,134, and the TIF account's $316,000 for a gross budget of $16,175,889. When you run that all the way down through the spreadsheet, the only money taken out this year was $200,000 for fund balance. That brings you to a estimated mill rate of $22.86, which is around a 2.5% increase.
Okay.
I had Travis check with William Brunel down at Maine Revenue Services. The extra $40,000 in homestead that we believe we're going to get, he said that that's been earmarked. It's in the budget. They haven't had anybody in the legislature who's questioned that or asked any questions about it. So he believes that that's going to go through when the vote happens.
Okay. Good.
So I think the 2.5 is the worst case scenario.
Okay. Any questions from the council to Bill? Okay. Just so the number that I've read that's actually going to be different come the second reading then. Is that what you said? You said on the city was 10.4?
Well, but that, when you read that appropriate, if you look at the total appropriation in there, the 16,175,889, that city expenditure isn't including our TIF number. in
Okay,
there.
so that 16,175,889 is the correct number
Is
still?
the total, yeah.
Okay.
That's correct. So
Okay.
it says city expenditures of 10,320,000. I don't include that TIF number in there when I read that off the spreadsheet.
Right.
But this appropriation number is correct.
It's correct, okay. So when we go for the second reading, that'll be good. Okay. Okay, is there anyone from the audience that would like to discuss the city budget at this time? If so, please come forward, state your name and address. Can I have this? Thank you.
Good evening, Ty Sullivan, Woodland
Ty.
Avenue. Thank you for your hard work, and thank you for paving the last half mile of Poplar Street.
That's it, Ty?
You want more?
Nope. I appreciate it, thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay, close the public hearing. We will move on to 1A. The Old Town City Council consider scheduling a second reading for final approval on the FY 2018-2019 municipal, county, and school budgets. Councilor Peterson, please.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council hereby approves scheduling a second reading on June 21st, 2018 for final approval of the proposed FY 2018-2019 municipal, county, and school budget. The proposed budget calls for the city expenditures of $10,320,100, Penobscot County taxes of $653,134, and RSU number 34 expenditures of $5,202,655.
$5 million.
$5,202,655 for a total city, county, and RSU budget of $16,175,889 with a total city revenue of $6,468,276 for a net property tax requirement of $9,707,613.
Perfect. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Jan, discussion. All those in favor? None opposed. Okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 2. The Old Town City Council will conduct a public hearing on the proposed FY 2018-2019 pollution control budget containing gross appropriations of $2,097,673, user fee revenue of $768,595, debt redemption of $535,860, and anticipated transfers from reserve accounts of $644,716, with a net appropriation from fund balance of $148,502. Open the public hearing. Bill, anything?
Again, they went, it was April 11th that we met with the Sewer Advisory Board.
Right.
To go over the budget with them. They had looked at a 5% increase this year, which goes with the rate study that was done by Wright Pierce. Minimum charge per quarter now would go from $78.27 to $82.20. And they were fine with that. Just as a reminder, we went basically from 2001 to 2013 with no rate change. That was supposed to be implemented in that 2013 year, and then that was held off for 2 more years. So you're in the 3rd year of the 5-year rate change. So I won't put David on the spot, but I'm sure he's going to come back next year and he's going to ask you
I didn't even see
for-
if he's here. There he is. No, I think he told us you were going to come back
Another
next year, I
increase.
think. Right.
Really, in going through their budget, the biggest changes in there that they requested was they had an 09 two-wheel drive pickup truck that they had requested from the Sewer Advisory Board to replace with a half-ton 4-wheel drive. And they were fine with that. And then their sewer maintenance vehicle, they're buying the 1-ton chassis, but they're taking the box off in that and putting it on the 1-ton chassis. So they're going to replace those 2 things. And that was really the only 2 major changes they had in their budget.
Right. I mean, basically, these 5% the last 2 years, just it's less and less they've had to take out of reserve, basically.
Right. it's starting to catch up the other way.
Right.
Which is good. And like you said before, Wright Pierce did the rate study, and those are all basically set up, so it's to help with the replacement of pumps in the plan itself or whatever they need to replace, and also going towards a reserve. So that's broken out into a couple different places that it goes.
Okay. Any questions for Bill or Dave on this? Dave, we all set?
Yep.
Okay. Anybody from the audience? Close the public hearing. The Old Town City Council will consider scheduling a second reading for final approval on the FY 2018-2019 pollution control budget. Councilor Ketchen, please.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council hereby approves scheduling a second reading on June 21st, 2018 on the proposed FY 2018-2019 pollution control budget containing gross appropriations of $2,097,000.
Yep.
$10,673. User fee revenue of $768,595. Debt redemption of $535,860, and anticipated transfers from reserve accounts of $644,716 with a net appropriation from fund balance of $148,502.
Perfect, thank you. Is there a second? Carol, discussion. All those in favor? None opposed. Okay, moving on to old business, new business. We've already done 1, 2, and 3. So the last item, the city council consider going into executive session for the purpose of hearing an application for an abatement of taxes based on poverty. Councilor Nettle, please.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council hereby approves going into executive session pursuant to Title 36 MRSA subsection 8412 for the purpose of considering an application for the abatement of taxes based on poverty.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Jan, discussion. All those in favor? None opposed. And the time is 7:42.